Welcome to Co-Parenting with the Universe. This is your host, Muriel Felous. And today we are going to talk about inner spring cleaning because we're getting close to spring. This is toward the end of this month, actually in 6 days. So it is time. And before I give you some pointers and ideas about habits that you can let go of for a more powerful and an easier parenting, I want to tell you about something that I'm pretty much jumping up and down from excitement about. And if you're on my social media, you already know that I was part of a book. We co-authored a book with 14 other authors. And this is a book about parenting. It's called Calm Parents and Confident Kids. How to use brain training to raise confident and resilient kids. So I'm super excited about it. It is an anthology. We each participated and shared some stories. I shared only one story, which is derived from my family life. And it's a brain training game and an energy tool that I used with my kids when they were young. So that's my story. But on the first chapter of the book and in the introduction, you learn a lot about I would say the foundation of brain training and how and why you must train your brain and teach your kids to train theirs for more effortless doing life, I would say. To program, because we are all programmed, whether we want it or not. We are programmed by social media, by TV, by everything everywhere we go. And we have been programmed since we were kids. And some programs are amazing, like driving, for example, and others play against us. So the goal is to identify and shift the ones that play against us and install some that play for us effortlessly, because we're talking about the subconscious mind here. So it's sources say, science says, between 95 and 97% of our decisions are unconscious, coming from the subconscious or the unconscious mind. So we may want to address that. And the background noise that you hear is my cat doing her nail on my brand new sofa. So I must find a solution for that. If you have a solution, write to me on my website or at my Gmail address, askmuriel@gmail.com. And it's Murielle. I'm desperate. I bought a brand new sofa that I love, and my cats elected to start doing their nails on it. So I don't know if there is a solution to that. Based on what my friends told me, there is none. Well, that's one of the challenges that I'm dealing with nowadays. I'm going to take a sip of water because I could feel that I was talking a lot and my throat was getting dry. And as I'm talking to you, I'm also sipping on a mocha that I made for myself to have with me during the episode, because I love to include pleasure in what I'm doing. Not that recording a podcast for you is not pleasureful. It is. I love it. I love reaching you through the waves of sound. So that's it for the announcement. Actually, no, sorry. So this book will be on pre-order starting March 22nd, and we want as many people to pre-order it on that day to be able to rank better on Amazon. So that's where I'm asking you for your help. It is at the launch price. The ebook is at the launching price of 99 cents. So you can't tell me that you can't buy it because of the price. I know this is nonsense. And I'm asking you to go and purchase it and read it and also put a review. I would love that. And when you pre-order on March 22nd, and if you're on my email list, I will remind you. If you're on my Instagram, in my Facebook group, on my Facebook page, I'll remind you. If you're not, maybe you want to be in the Facebook group, especially if you want to share and ask questions that are more private, that you don't want the entire earth to know about regarding your parenting. That's the place you want to be. I'll remind you about it, and I'll give you the link to purchase that will come out on March 22nd. So that's, you'll get a bonus for doing that. I have a live workshop which is about using the law of attraction and tapping in conjunction to raise your kids, to parent. And because I do that, that's one aspect of what I'm teaching, what I'm coaching moms on. I'll let you have a look in that world, and I'll teach you some techniques that you can reproduce and use for the rest of your life in all the areas of your life, frankly. So now we're done with the announcement, and we're switching to our topic of the day, which is inner spring cleaning. So last week we started to establish some foundation for knowledge with astrology with my guest Neta, who's an astrologer whom I got readings from that were extremely useful for my family. And this week, I would like to bring you some more awareness about what you may want to let go of, what you may want to sprinkle in your habits, your patterns, your behaviors. So I'll give you some examples, and one of them you'll be able to go on YouTube. I'll put the link in this episode, and you'll be able to tap with me on one of them, a major one. So first, something that I wanted to remind you of is when you don't sleep enough, when you don't drink enough, when you don't relax enough, your parenting is not as efficient, impactful, and as fun as it could be, because you're stressed and or you're tired. And I know for a fact that my kids knew that when they were young, and even now, if I'm in the middle of the night and you wake me up because you're making noise or something, it better be for an emergency, because if it's not, my dragon mode is going to be on. I can't do with a lack of sleep. I'm irritable. I'm not a nice person to be around. So how about you? Do you think about that? There is also some people, like one of my daughters, my older daughter, when she doesn't eat, because she eats very clean and very regularly, but if she doesn't eat, that's when her dragon comes out. So look at that for you too. Are you eating regularly, or do you have like hunger, anger? So that's one aspect that you can let go of by starting to establish a routine in the way you eat, the way you sleep. Now, drinking water is crucial. It will help you oxygenate your blood. It will help you function better. Even my physical therapist told me that because I have joint pain sometimes, if I don't drink, the pain is higher. Water is needed for our brain, for all our organs. As you know, I have some symptoms with my heart that I'm working on healing from atrial fibrillation. And I noticed that when I don't drink enough, it gets worse. So all these maintenance physical aspect you need to look at. Another thing, when you wake up in the morning, one way that I used to stress myself back in time was to, as soon as I open my eyes, to run my to-do list in my head. Do you know what it does to your body? Oh my God. it's right away in a state of stress. And it has an impact physically and on your mood as well. You're stressing yourself as soon as you're opening your eyes. Instead of what I do now, my morning routine, and maybe I'll do an episode about that, about morning routines from different people, because I meditate, but some people can't meditate or they don't like to meditate. Like one of my, I don't think that my middle daughter meditates. I need to ask her. I know she's reading books about that, but I don't know if she's actually putting it in motion. If she's doing it. My oldest one is kind of ADHD and she needs to move. So she would meditate in movement. She would do repetitive movements when she exercises. Yoga for her is an amazing grounding meditation because she puts her attention in the moment. She's forced to put the attention on what she's doing, and that's extremely calming for her. What's your morning routine? Maybe you want to let go of your current morning routine that maybe is setting you up for being stressed and maybe resentful sometimes. I had that with some moms, and resentment. We're going to do some programs about it because that's something that's very taboo when we talk about our kids and resentment. But that's a fact that sometimes we are resentful, especially when they make us go through stuff that we don't like. And sometimes it's even unconscious resentment. So, morning routine, start to investigate, what do you like? Maybe you don't even know what you like. Maybe you just need to go on a discovery adventure. Do you like meditating? Do you like doing Qigong? I'm going to have a guest who's going to be presenting for us some exercises to ground ourselves and relax ourselves and put our energy where it needs to be. What do you like to do? The last thing about physical and stress hygiene, as I call it, is when you come back from work, and even if you work at home and your work is one door away, leave your stress in that room. Do something before you come in contact with your teenagers and your kids and your family to release the stress that is linked to work. I know that sometimes it's easier said than done because even a lot of my friends are entrepreneurs, and I know even with myself that sometimes when we get out of the office, we will have to go back to our Instagram, Facebook. Here in Israel, we use WhatsApp a lot for business. But take a moment to recenter, to ground yourself, and to connect with the love. What do you love in your teenager? Even if they're not the most agreeable. I talked with a dad. Yeah, I start having dads talking to me now. And he was telling me that he has 3 daughters and that sometimes he feels like a target. He feels like he has a target on his back because they're very difficult as teenagers with him. So I reminded him that it's temporary and it will pass, and that in fact that means that they trust that they can dump that stuff on him and they won't lose his love. That's a vote of trust, I would say. So when you frame it that way, it's easier to live with. So before you get out of the office, put your hand on your heart, do a deep breathing, a few deep breathing, like I would say 6 to 10. Like inhale for 4, exhale for 6, with the exhale being longer than the inhale. And bring your attention to your heart. Bring your attention to what you love about the people who live with you in your house. And then enter the house. I remember doing that in my car when my kids were young and I was coming back from work, because I knew that I had a ton, as a single mom, a ton of stuff to do. When I came home after work, cook dinner, see about homework. And I was already running that list in my head before I entered the house. And I was stressed. And my reticular activating system, the matchmaker in your brain, was looking at everything that was stressful as soon as I put a foot through the door. And of course, that didn't go well with my kids because they can feel that. So get in the habit of dissolving all that before you enter the house or before you change room and enter the main area of the house. So those were the more physical aspects. Now I want to talk about two mental aspects that I see over and over and over with parents, with moms, with dads, and frankly with myself in the past. And sometimes it comes back and I catch myself. One of the most poisoning thoughts that you can have is, it shouldn't be that way. And I've talked about it in previous episodes because we tend to have an image in our head. And I think that's my cat climbing on my computer. Anyway, an image of how things should be, a model of how we would like our teen to be, or how we would like them to treat us, or how what we've seen on TV, heard from our friends, been taught by society should be. You delete, erase, scratch, I don't know how, disintegrate that thought. When you are thinking it shouldn't be that way, you are in resistance. So we talked about the reticular activating system, the RAS. Your brain will show you other proofs why you should be in resistance, because that's where you are mentally. That's your reality. You create your reality with your thoughts, with your emotions. And on an energy level, on the elevator of energy, like I call it, you will have stopped at the floor of resistance. So you will encounter people, things, and situations that resonate with resistance, where you will need to resist. So let go of that thought. If it wasn't supposed to be that way, if it shouldn't be that way, it wouldn't be. But the reality, the facts are showing you the opposite. That's what happens is what should be. And once you are in that mode of acceptance, even if you have a little bit of resistance to accept it, you accept that you need to accept it. I hope it makes sense, because that's the beginning. Accept that you need to accept. And that's something you can tap on. So that thought, give an order to your brain to catch yourself when you start thinking that way. Drop it in the garbage and say, I'm willing to accept what's going on. That's opening the door. That's opening a crack and starting to build a will to accept. So that's one major one. The second major one is, once you've dealt with something, and I understand that very much as an accountant, because that was my background, you put a check mark and that's it. You switch to something else. Unfortunately, and I've seen that in some coaching sessions with moms, they think they dealt with something with their teen. They think the teen understood that this is not something they're going to accept, or this is not something they should do. This is not good for them. And sometimes they show even some progress. Things change for a while, and then the same kind of thing is coming back. Well, dear moms, it's a never-ending story. And it comes in different versions. I see that with my son right now, where it's a little bit tough for him because we moved countries. He's going to school in a different language. Of course, he has classes in English, but he also has classes where things are taught in Hebrew, and we need to have a parallel learning for him. And certain patterns that he grew out of when we were in the US are coming back. And me thinking we dealt with that already, why does it come again? I thought this would not happen again. That's what I've heard from moms. And frankly, I had a discussion with someone not so long ago, and she was talking about her money situation, and she was like, I thought I was out of that. I thought I outgrew that issue, and here we are again. So not only do you have to deal with what's going on as an irritating situation or challenging, but you also have to deal with the fact that somehow you feel that something is off, either your teen or yourself or life, for that same thing to happen again. But remember, lessons happen in layers. It's like a spiral. You're going to revisit that same lesson, but from obviously a higher vibration and a higher perspective. So where it would have been, let's say, the difficulty of the challenge when it happened the first time was from 0 to 100 was a 100. Then the next time, the difficulty for you to regain your center, rejoin your center and bounce back or find a solution or access your inner wisdom or tap in the knowledge and the assistance of the universe, because frankly, never, ever, ever forget that. It's here for us 24/7, and that's the most powerful help that you can get. So then the difficulty is brought to a 50 maybe, and the next time it's going to be a 20, and soon enough at one point it will be a 2 maybe. And maybe if you didn't sleep well, if you're not in the same frame of mind than you were last time, maybe it's going to go back to a 20. But you can bounce back. Let's start over. That situation, that problem, or that, behavior of your teenager, or whatever we're talking about. Coming back again doesn't mean failure, not on your part and not on their part. It's simply a different angle of the lesson until we learn it, and we learn it, and we learn it. And at a certain point, it's going to be a non-issue. So that, I thought we were done with that, and it's happening again. That's frustration, that may be anger, that may be fear, because does it mean I don't have what it takes because I didn't deal with it well, because it's coming back? Let it go. And I invite you to now take a deep breath, because I was speaking quite fast, and let it go. Put your hand on your heart. And repeat, I'm learning. I'm here for the lesson. I found a solution last time. I'll find a solution today. Until it is the last solution, because this will dissolve, or my teen will evolve, or I will evolve, and it will be a non-issue for me, even if it happens again. I trust myself. It doesn't mean I failed. It just means I'm learning. It doesn't mean that they're gonna be like that forever. It just means they are learning. And I now ask the help and the support and the guidance of the universe, of Source, of the infinite wisdom that is there for me. I ask my guides to point me in the right direction. And I'm open to see and understand, or feel and understand, or hear and understand. Take a deep breath. All is well. And like I mentioned, I'm going to do a special tapping video on that. And this is something that I have the Inner Spring workshop coming up on March 26th. We're going to work on that and the shouldn't be and other things on a much deeper level, so that you can start reframing, telling yourself a different story. So I hope you join us for that. Join the membership. You can be there. You can take the class or the workshop, stay in the membership. You can join us for a few months and let go. It's a month to months. I want to remove all fear for moms to join that membership. And also so that you know that you're with moms just like you, even me. Sometimes I struggle with that. I had to catch myself the other day and say, here we go again. That is so frustrating. And then I remembered, we're learning, we're evolving. He has grown so much. That's just a different version. And also remembering that it can be hard for him because he wanted to come. It's good for him to be here, but he also is missing his sisters, just as I do. Dealing with a new language that he doesn't know. So for me it's easier because I went to college here, so I know Hebrew. Remember how it can be more difficult for them than for you. And you'll be more compassion for you and for them. So if you want, come tap with me on Facebook, on YouTube, and maybe I'll do it in my Facebook group actually. You know what? I think I'll do a live in the Facebook group. That way if people want to join and ask questions and get maybe more customized feedback. So join the Facebook group. The link is here in the notes from this episode. And join. I really invite you to join the membership because I know that for me, I need coaches. It helps me stay high in my vibration. Information is everywhere. But unless unless you have some accountability and someone who holds a sacred space for you when you're afraid to look at your stuff, or someone who holds your hand because I have tools that you don't know. That's my expertise. I wouldn't go to, a hairdresser to get a face cleaning. I forgot how it's called. A cosmetic. Oh my gosh, my words are coming in Hebrew now. Treatment. So I encourage you to give yourself what you need to make it easier for yourself. It's frankly, for me, if I'm not being trained and be mentored, I sometimes have blind spots, just like everyone else. And we do have blind spots. Like I said, 95% of the time we're on unconscious mode. So a coach can mirror that for you. Other moms in the membership can show you that you're not alone, because that's also something. I am in groups for depressed parents of depressed teenagers, because that was the case for me. And I see how sad it is that they feel so alone and so ashamed. So you're not alone and you're not ashamed, and your problem is not so out of the ordinary. I love you. I send you love from my heart as a mom, because I know how hard of a job it is. And that may be not grammatically correct, but that's okay. And until next time, please go buy the book on March 22nd and join us on March 26th at 10 o'clock Pacific time live to work on what you need to let go of for easier and more powerful parenting, so you don't get so aggravated and depleted energetically every time when you face your challenges. Sending you love, and see you next time in the next episode or somewhere else on my platforms. Mwah! Bye for now.